Hey, I am here to share with you or a solution really, to a problem that we have all experienced. Like, when there's like a word that you really need to brief, and you need to brief it, and you've like studied it a bunch of times, but for some reason it just like never sticks. And it bothers you every single time because it's like, you need it, and you've spent so many like hours or just like practicing it, and just like won't stick. So I actually have 8 tips to share with you, 8 different practice methods to help you master what seems like an impossible brief. But please keep in mind that when you are looking for briefs, look for something that you're easily able to stroke. If you are having difficulty stroking it, look for finger drills that can help you strengthen your dexterity. So the first way of practicing that I think is actually like the most fun is find a song that you actually like that has that word repeated over and over and over again. So there's one song that I used. It was Yesterday by Mary, and I was just out of theory and trying to just really master that word because obviously they say that a lot, and what I did is every single time that the word came up, that was my number one goal, was just to stroke that word. Everything else was like high speed practice, but I knew for the 3 to 5 minutes, however long the song is, that my only focus is getting that one word. So look for songs that you actually like that have the word in it, and make sure the number one thing you're doing, your number one focus, is just that one word. That is really like the most fun way to practice. So, and there's also something really cool. If you look up songs, repetitive songs or something like that, there's actually a list of songs that say the same words over and over and over again. So that is a really fun way to master those words. And the other thing is, when you learn something and you're actually like having fun while you're learning it, it's more likely to stick than if you're just doing like rote memorization and just this is just really a fun way of practicing. Another way of practicing this impossible brief is to make a list, like when you have your finger drills, do your finger drills, but then insert the brief outline in between every single stroke while using the metronome. So this is really cool because it helps you stay up to speed, and you're also working on your finger drills, but then you're also working on this impossible brief, which really will, if you follow at least 2 or 3 of these for the next 2 or 3 days, these impossible briefs are just going to come so natural to you. So another thing is, you can go down your hesitation list and insert that impossible brief, the focus word. Let's just call it focus word from now on, because it's not going to be impossible. Okay, so we're going to just put in that focus word in between every single word on that hesitation list. Again, like your finger drills, it helps you're doing 2 things at once. So that's really cool. The next thing is, use finger drills that actually incorporate that stroke. So let's say that the word is yesterday, and you're using YED, but you see that now maybe look for finger drills that use the final D stroke. Using the final D stroke will help you with your dexterity, and perhaps the reason the brief is harder for you to master is simply because of dexterity issues. So look for finger drills that incorporate some of the same elements of that stroke. Another example could be, let's say you want a brief for you said. So you said can be briefed USD. So look for briefs that incorporate the SD finger combination, which is the Philadelphia shift. Another thing you can do, number 5, is you can pick an article online that you want to read, and then you're going to write every word of the article. But then, of course, you guessed it, you're going to put your focus word in. And when I say you could pick any article you want to read, you can pick any article you want to read. So when you're like mindlessly surfing the web, get out your machine and read whatever you want to read. But make sure you read it out loud, but then insert the stroke of your focus word. So that's really cool too. It makes it fun. It's like when you're listening to your favorite song or a song and you are mastering the brief in it. Number 6 is go back to wherever the focus word is mentioned in your theory book and actually study that entire chapter or that entire concept. So that option is available most times. So whenever it is, it's a very good choice for you to go back to your theory book, because theory is the foundation of all of this. The next thing is, another way, number 7, is pick an article where the word is the subject, okay? So let's say it's about, you're trying to master the brief for airplane, and there's a new airplane that just came out. Read that article, then the word airplane is going to be mentioned so many times in there, and also it gives you some good knowledge of what's going on, like current events. That's really, really cool. And number 8, which is the final one, is practice similar words to that outline. So, for instance, with my last example, airplane, you may want to learn airport, airline, such things like that. Another thing is, if you're learning words like yesterday, you may also want to learn words like tomorrow and tonight. But another thing is, if you're learning a brief for, let's say, security, you could also learn a brief for secure. So when you learn those family of briefs, it really helps everything stick together, and you also are able to get more than one word, like, I guess it's like more bang for your buck, but more than, 2 birds with 1 stone. I know it's a lot of colloquialisms, but basically you're able to maximize what you're working on and what you're practicing. And if you're working on those together, now you're able to just master more at one time. And that's really, really the goal, is to be able to get as many like briefs and master them as much as possible, so that because the shorter you write, the better you will write. But you need to know what the briefs are. You cannot hesitate. So these 8 ways are ways for you to, these 8 strategies are 8 ways for you to eliminate hesitation with any word. But it definitely requires deliberate practice. And deliberate practice is really just focusing in on what you're doing, knowing what you're doing, analyzing it, looking for feedback. And you look for feedback. You're the only person who's going to give yourself feedback. Stenography is like a solo sport. So if you see, wow, I keep messing up with the asterisk, then start practicing the asterisk. Yes, I know you're trying to work on one word, but if the asterisk is part of that word, you're never going to be able to master the full word if you can't master the asterisk. So always look for feedback. And deliberate practice, come back to it every day until you could write that word at 225. You don't have it mastered. You just think you have it mastered because you were able to go down on it on a list, but you don't have it mastered. You need to be able to write these words at high speed. And another thing, this is, I guess, a bonus, is when you have a list of words, start making up your own sentences. I have a video from, I don't know, like 4, 5, 6 years ago on Lady Steno on the YouTube channel, and it talks about power sentences. So if you're having a problem with the word deliberations, yesterday, tomorrow, like we had deliberations yesterday and tomorrow, and then just keep practicing that one sentence. So that's 3 words that you're working on, but that you can easily practice whenever you set your machine up, whenever you pass by it, whenever you're waiting for a job to start or for a test to start or a teacher to walk in. That's power sentences. So look at that video, and that to me was the probably the most helpful. In addition, the music, playing the song And then the power sentences to me were absolutely the most helpful. And then finger drills are really good too. I mean, honestly, everything is good. Everything is good. You just need to do it, okay? So I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.